Who's this? It's the tax man, and he's looking at you.
So the first thing I noticed about this volume was the lovely cameo by Saul Goodman. Dude, it was so awesome to see freaking Bob Odenkirk drawn by Isayama put into the Attack on Titan manga. And like, it's not a fan drawing, it's not just like a recreation, it's not just like, it's like literally legitimately canon that Saul Goodman is a Titan. At least that's how I'm considering it. Also really funny because someone told me in my last review that Isayama was a big fan of Breaking Bad because I was comparing Eren to Walter White to begin with, in the idea that, you know, you could call him a villain now, but because we saw his journey, because we were with him from the very beginning, we saw his evolution of what turned him into this kind of character. There's still lots of people on his side and understanding with him and sympathetic for him, and just kind of that parallel, because that's really what Breaking Bad did as you know, as an audience when it was airing, is because you saw this progression of this character, and by the time he becomes this evil, horrible bastard, you know, you still kind of feel sympathy for him because you were there at the beginning. You saw how all this started, and that's the exact same way that Attack on Titan makes you feel about Eren Yeager, because we saw the trauma that he experienced as a child. We saw everything that he went through in the beginning few arcs of the series to get to this point that you can kind of understand, at least even if you don't agree with what he's doing, you at least understand how he got to that point. So that was a really cool thing to finally see Eren go full Yeager, let's just call it, into the ending of Volume 30, everything about Volume 30. Now, Volume 30 was so intense and so overwhelming and so just powerful. It was the culmination of everything that this series had been building to. It was the final, you know, actually seeing the history of Ymir, and it was seeing what Eren had been building towards and doing and working his way to actually enact this plan, and we got to see the truth about Eren's father and everything that Grisha was actually doing, and I actually became way more sympathetic for Grisha than I ever was before. And I think because Volume 30 was just so massive in its like storytelling, just how much like was built up, the payoff basically is what I'm saying. Like, all the build up we had for the 29 volumes before, Volume 30 paid off on pretty much almost everything that the series has been setting up. Now, because of that, Volume 31 of course is gonna feel a little bit weaker because of that, and that's not Volume 31's fault. It just so happens that this is what happens after the most intense volume of Attack on Titan so far. Volume 31, I feel like, was pretty much a picking up the pieces / where is everybody now volume, because we kind of got a flash to all the other characters that we didn't see during the whole in the Paths dimension and whatnot, when it was focusing on Eren and Zeke and everybody. We didn't see where the other characters were, what they were doing. So we're kind of picking up with each one, and it kind of cuts, you know, each chapter kind of cuts and majorly focuses on a different character somewhere, just so we see who's alive, who's around, who are they grouping with, and what's going on. And then it all ends in the culmination of the final chapter of Volume 31, where they're waking Reiner up and they're saying, all right, we have to go save the world, which was an awesome final panel. So a few things to talk about. I'll talk about a couple of specific things that stood out to me with these characters. Number one, I think the most important one, which I kind of have mixed feelings about, was everything that was going on with Coney in this volume. Connie, that character, because I've joked before that he's kind of like the Yamcha of Attack on Titan, where he's there, he's with the main cast, he does some cool stuff here and there, but he hasn't really had that development in a long time. They haven't really delved into Coney or done much with him, at least, you know, compared to like Eren, Levi, Mikasa, Armin, like the big players, you know, Reiner, Jean, like all these characters that they've done so much with. Connie's just been kind of the one in the background for the longest time. I know they did have him be the most emotional over Sasha's death and whatnot, but mostly he hasn't really done much. In this volume, though, we get to see a lot of confliction within him, with knowing that the boy, Falco, now has the Jaw Titan. And because of that, he was thinking, if the boy doesn't know, the boy's not aware of it, I can take the boy and I can feed it to my mom and kind of bring her back. Because once you have like one of the main, you know, Titan, we become a Titan shifter, you return to, you know, who you are. You're actually coherent and can like turn back into a human. And we saw Coney's mom turn into a Titan like a long time ago, back in like one of the early volumes, and it hasn't really been touched on since then. I don't know if it's maybe been brought up like once or twice, but it hasn't really been a focal point or a plot point. So my confliction here is that I thought it was really cool to finally get some character development out of Coney and to actually see him, struggle and deal with something and get into his psyche a little bit more as a character. But on the flip side, because Attack on Titan has spent so long, focusing so much on the other characters, and now he's getting this like little bit of development, it kind of just feels like a little shoved in. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of feels like a little bit of like, we got to give Coney something, and it kind of scares me because it also feels like, let's give the characters something big to do right before we kill them. And I don't know if his death is coming, but a lot of times series will do that, where if they haven't touched on a character in a while, they'll all of a sudden build him up or give him like a big epic action moment, and then shortly after they'll cut the ties with him. So I don't know if that's coming. If that's the only reason why Coney's getting this big moment, then that will disappoint me. But just the fact that he is, and we haven't seen much from him in a while, as far as like a, deep, like introspective kind of way, I did like it. Like, I enjoyed it, is what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, I hope it's not there just so that we can kill him off like 3 chapters later. That's my only thing. And I really did like Armin stepping up to the plate too and jumping in the way and saving Falco, and then of course Coney saves him, and everybody's saving each other in this moment. I thought that moment was really good. I thought it was pretty powerful, especially for Armin, because he's been really stepping up to the plate lately. He was willing to attack Eren before, and he told Mikasa off in this volume, telling her like to think for herself and everything. So he's becoming that commander, very similar to what Erwin was. And I think a lot of that has to do because he was so distraught over being the one that was chosen instead of Commander Erwin. And he's really filling that void. Not because he wants to be like Erwin, but like because that void is there to be filled. And he needs to step up, and he needs to be able to be the one to do it, because guess what? No one else is. And so I really like that aspect of Armin's character. And he is again one of those guys that like towards like the middle portion of the series too, that he kind of dropped off for a bit. He wasn't doing as much, but he's really come back in full force. So like I like seeing this Armin in charge, telling it how it is kind of version of Armin. I really, really enjoyed it. The other big thing is that Annie is back, which was very cool to see, because she's been just in this like frozen in carbonite for like ever now. And because Eren got rid of all the hardening from all the Titans and whatnot, which took away the walls. I guess he got rid of all the hardening everywhere, which included the cocoon shell that Annie was in. So it was cool to see her finally get released and have that moment with Hitch back and forth, talking about her backstory. Again, now that we really have like a full, well-realized idea and understanding of all the backstory of the major players that were there from the beginning, of Reiner and Bertold and now Annie, and what she went through with her father and everything. So, and it really, again, just drives the point home, puts into perspective of like, it all just depends on where you are, where you're brought up, how you're raised, how you're indoctrinated into what you feel about who the enemies are, who you are, and all that. And so it plays into the whole theme of everything that Attack on Titan has been. So I thought it fit, I thought it was well done, and I like that Annie was here able to explain it. Now, how Annie runs into Armin and the rest of them, it was done in a comedic way, and it was probably done to like, pick up the pace, to have, so you don't have to like search around and have to like have the characters find each other and whatnot. I didn't have a problem with the way that it was done. I thought it was rather humorous, and also, you want to get to, we're at the big kind of climactic moment of the entire series, so we want to get to the good stuff. So let's just have Annie meet up with the rest of the team. Like, it doesn't need to be any more difficult than that. And finally, I wanted to talk about how Levi is finally shown again. Now, I haven't seen him since the explosion with Zeke, so I didn't know if he was actually going to be dead or alive, because this is Attack on Titan, so like any character can die. Again, we're in the end game of the series, so really any character can die. And it was good to see him alive. He's got some cool badass scars across his face, of course. He's missing some fingers, which reminded me of like Roland from the Dark Tower series, if you've ever read that one. How he's missing some of his fingers. And him and Hanji are there, and they made sort of a pact with the Jaw Titan in order to get Jean out of the situation. And which was weird to me, that Jean kind of went along with this, he's going to kill, Yelena and the other character whose name I can never remember. He kind of went along with it for a good amount of time during this volume, which was kind of strange. It felt a little strange, but it all kind of wrapped up together, and they were able to rescue him and whatnot. And so like I said, now they have the entire team, including Gabby as well. So Gabby's on board, and despite what some people may feel about it. Now, with Gabby's character, like, I like her character. I really, really do. I've liked her since her introduction. I like how she's a good parallel to Aaron, and I like how she's come around to really understanding the way of the world by being forced into it. How, you know, it wasn't just her being with, you know, Sasha's family. It wasn't just her coming to Paradis. It wasn't just her meeting Aaron. Like, it was a culmination of so many different things to bring her to where she is right now, and to see her kind of mental struggle along the way. And again, it works well. It like parallels again with Reiner and everything. And Reiner, like I was saying, I made a post on Twitter where I said Reiner has pretty much become my new favorite character of the series, topping Mikasa, just because. And it's so strange because for like the first half of this series, I would have put Reiner even in my top 5. But now, after seeing everything he's gone through, when he was like on the verge of killing himself, how he tried so hard to make sure, you know, the right candidate was picked, and just everything. Like, it's so overwhelming. Like, there's so much with the Reiner character. And now, with like the hardening being taken away, so what is his like armor titan completely useless because Aaron took away all of the hardening? So can he not do it at all? So like, if his titan is like useless now, then like how is he gonna do anything? You know, and that'll make him more depressed and distraught than he already was, which was pretty bad to begin with. And I just feel like he's such a deep character in this series that he just far and away kind of exceeded my expectations and has become my favorite. And now, as I'm watching through the anime, and since I know everything, and I really like that I know everything that's going to happen, it makes the anime a little bit more fun to watch because I see all like the little clues and teases along the way. Is just that you know, you get so much more nuance with Reiner once you know where he ends up and like what he's been through, and you already know his history, and you go back and start to watch the anime. So if you like rewatch it, or if you're watching it for the first time after reading the manga, I think it just works so much better. Anyways, guys, so that's my quick review of Volume 31. I have one more full volume to read, 32, and then whatever remaining chapters are left, which I might do another live stream to catch up with the final chapters. I'm not sure yet, but we'll figure it out when we get there. I'm very close, very excited. I'm excited to see where this is going, because this really is the end game of the series. And I even read a post where like Isayama wanted to end this by the end of 2020, and that's like really soon. So I don't know how many chapters are actually going to be left. My cat's scratching at the door. He doesn't like when I talk to the camera. What are you doing? But I can't imagine how all this is going to wrap up. Like, I know they're going to have to go towards Aaron. Aaron's like directing all of the Colossal Titans away from him. So like, I don't know if they're going to have to fight through them, because like you would think that the Titans would just ignore them to begin with, because they're heading out like to the sea and to head to where they need to go. So and Aaron, is he like immobile during this? Is he just like stuck in that big position like while he's commanding all of this to happen? I don't know. Like, can you even get inside of like his spinal? I don't know. Like, how do you defeat this? And plus, he's like the size of Colossal Titan is like big enough. It's like 50 meters, right? And he's like 5 times that size. So I don't know. I literally don't know, but I'm super excited to see how it's all going to shake down. So let me know your thoughts about Volume 31 of Attack on Titan. Put those in the comments below. Tell me what you think, some thoughts, theories moving forward, and I will get to Volume 32 and the remaining chapters as soon as I can. So thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. I really do appreciate it. Please give it a thumbs up, like it, comment, subscribe if you want to stick around and see more. I'll talk to you next time.
You know you need to launder your money, right?